we have Garf versus Rice. So we have a relatively new face in the scene, Garf. Happy to see you get on stream. And Rice, which is another workshop developer.
Alright, so gonna be starting things off on Ethereal Gates as well. Not necessarily a starter pick that we're used to seeing too often. And I've got to say, right, Robo, it's going to be super interesting to see these two characters pit against one another. What exactly do these two characters do?
Well, let's get into the game and I'll explain it just a little bit. So, Rice is going to be playing Nate, which is, he's a bit of a floatier character with a pretty decent projectile control and pretty decent disjoint, while Garf is going to be playing the Final Fantasy character Terra, which could be described pretty much very similar, so I'm kind of interested to see how these two characters play against each other, considering their similarities.
Yeah, I mean, as far as their similarities go, the one thing that isn't similar is the percent count, as Garf is just kind of running away with things. The moment that they get a single hit, it turns into 3, 4 more hits. So right now, at the very least, we're seeing the Final Fantasy come on through.
Yeah, Rice is kind of struggling to get hits in. I do believe that may have been the first in a little bit of time, but it just seems like Garf has been walling them. Oh wow, really, kind of early into the game first stock. I do believe that Upstrong is pretty notorious for having a hard angle to DI, so I'm not surprised that Nate, a character that kind of is on the lighter side, I believe, would die that easily.
Yeah, and you can see Garf making use of so many of these hit-fall multi-hit aerials and then just chaining it into more and more moves. It's just a matter of, alright, well, am I going to get the finisher hit? Am I going to actively go for the entire move? Or am I just going to cancel it halfway through? And with a parry, going to start things off with a very, very large lead in game number 1 here. Already up a full stock, looking to take a second one.
Looks like Rice has set up, Nate was patched recently to include these spikes, but it's not really paying off. With such a high percent on him, Rice is kind of struggling to catch up to this dominant game.
I mean, as you were saying, Robo, Rice struggling so much already on last stock here, and you can see the Nate just not really able to showcase what the character can do just yet, as Garf's Terra is just absolutely running away with this. It's just aerial and aerial and aerial, hit after hit, percent after percent.
Setting up the nice spikes on the ground again, but it just doesn't really do much. It looks like Garf knows the counterplays to hit them, and it's just, I don't even know what to say here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now the big question is, does Rice know what to go for here? Because there's just so much of Garf's onslaught, and it seems like there's no real answer just yet. Terra is just continuing to throw out moves, but there we go. Final stock, gonna get that stage transformation in as well, as Rice still showing some signs of life, not just gonna be bowing out.
As expected, but oh wow, that offstage projectile almost catches Rice, but he did not have enough meter to make it back on stage. Garf takes the first game of the set.
Yeah, Garf gonna be able to take game number 1 in a relatively dominant fashion. The Terra, as we've seen, hasn't really been shown on stream so much in recent times. And Garf's showing off saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we should be playing this character a little bit more. The Terra still has some sauce. But either way, game number 2 going over to Aether High, a very, very different stage. Doesn't have those super extended blast zones, doesn't have those non-standard platform heights. So instead, just going to be your very, very standard tri-plat, going to be looking to utilize as much movement as possible.
Let's get into the round. No character switches here. We're sticking with our mains.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, Rice was on the back foot for a lot of game number 1, but at the very least managed to get back into the swing of things towards the very end of it. So I do like that Rice is sticking with the Nate here.
It seems he's been able to get a pretty good lead at the start of this, but Garf has just been turning it around with some clever spacing, some good projectile play, but Rice is like, no, this is my stage pick. I'm gonna do what I want. He's been using some clever platform play that he didn't necessarily have the last game.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly why you choose a stage like Aether High, like Tower of Heaven, right? When you have so much usage of those platforms, you can get all that damage until those stray strong attacks are going to eventually kill. And Rice already looking so much better in game 2 than we saw in game number 1. Right, but you can see Garf there with the parry, gonna be able to get back into the swing of things, and this is the reason why Rice is down a game to begin with. Garf's Terra is still something that you have to pay a lot of attention to, is what I'd be saying if Rice wasn't on the verge of a 3-stock.
I was not expecting that strong to kill, but it was a very nice confirm from the stunning projectile. Will Garf be able to make this stock loss up? It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Rice, after losing game 1, just completely turned things around and said, all right, you know what? I need a lock-in. Locktober might be over, but it is absolutely time to get back into the swing of things. And as you can see right now, Garf just barely able to take stock number 1, but this is a 3-stock comeback requirement if Rice is going to be going down here. But Garf, right now, still struggling a little.
It looks like Garf is managing to find a little bit of tempo. Rice has been struggling to get back into the swing of things, but it's still a long way to go. Oh, as I said, those kind of stray pokes from Nate, those balls, those spikes will just turn the favor to Rice.
Yeah, I mean, the balls, spikes, the blocks, literally everything in the kitchen sink just thrown directly at Garf there, and going to be able to even up that game count, taking us to game number 3 here. And now that it's Garf's counter pick, we are going to be going over to Spirit Tree, a very, very close Blast Zone stage, extremely volatile between these two players, between these two characters. A single one of these strings that we've seen from Garf could turn into an immediate kill.
That was actually some nice ball usage, summoning it from below to catch Garf off guard. I'm actually expecting that this stage might play into the favor of both of these characters, as some of their primary kill options are off the top.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen earlier, right, with Terra's up strong, has the ability to kill off the top. We've seen with the block strongs from the Nate as well. Very, very powerful for killing off the top. So a stage like this that is so close to those top blast zones just prioritizes exactly what these characters want.
It does look like, ooh, yeah, very difficult time to get back on. Whoa!
Oh, wow, what a catch from Garf there. Gonna be able to take stock number 1, and we've seen that the momentum always runs away after stock 1.
That's very true. Wow, these strings are simply incredible. It does look like Rice is trying to find their footing with the ball play, but it seems very difficult with the demanding projectile play Garf has been using.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been a lot of these multi-hits into a hitfall, but right now, Garf, once again, gonna be able to get something started here. 94% on Rice and counting, as Garf still is yet to lose their first stock here. Terra getting knocked off stage, but should be able to recover. And the question is, who gets that stock? It is gonna be Rice with the win out on that trade.
That's right, the back air would do it right there, one of Nate's better kill options, but knowing this character, he has a multitude of those, so...
Yeah, I mean, right now, as we can see, the Terra still putting out more and more of these aerials. We already saw one of those up airs take the Nate right off the top there. But Garf right now struggling to actually get in as Rice is playing keep away.
Oh, and suddenly Rice is in the lead. He's been using what I describe as like huge momentum boosts from his specials to just catch Garf in the wrong places.
Yeah, I mean, so many of these specials coming in from Rice have been great at the set play, great at playing the keep away, a trapper character archetype here, as Garf just gonna continue to run in with these multi-hits, with these strings, and try and hope for the best here. But right now, at 87% and off stage on Spirit Tree, this could be a kill.
We might be seeing some... I'm sure what Rice might be thinking right now is I need to set up some big projectile to catch Garf on the recovery, and that kind of strong rage will take the game.
Yeah, and just like that, Garf not able to recover to a safe position, as Rice is just going to take that one straight to the bank with the strong to take Garf right off the top on their own counter pick.
That was a
will
great
do.
set.
I believe they are still best of 3 right now, so
yes.
That sets it for that series.
Let's get into our next game. Sorry for putting off the Shimmer set, but we do have the correct replays now.
It's all right, you know, we gotta, as long as we get the right ones, that's the important thing here. But also, I gotta say, right, Rice managing to lock in immediately after that game number 1 is absolutely crazy. Just, we saw how strong Garf was immediately, and Rice still managed to say, all right, you know what, that happens, it was a fluke, I am going to still win this set, and just gets right back into things. And in the meantime, we are having Shimmer versus Slim Sanity, sporting 2 completely different characters.
Right, we're gonna be seeing